What's going on, everybody? So happy Friday. I hope you guys all made it out of this week very, very safe. If you watched my video from last night where I was kind of doing some charting on the futures, I was saying, I was extremely bearish going into today just due to the fact that I did not like the way we reacted after bad news from the CPI data numbers was, essentially eaten up by the bulls. They did a fantastic job. And then we had, Bulger, whatever his name is, the hawkish Fed guy came out and said that instead of 0.25, he thinks that we should raise to 0.50, get to 100 basis point interest rate hike before July. That really had a detrimental effect on the markets yesterday, and we kind of sold off. So we looked very, very weak, meaning that I knew that there was going to be some moves to the upside just due to the sheer fact of such the big pull that we had intraday yesterday. So I was expecting a little bit of a bounce, but I was not going to buy into that bounce, meaning that I was just going to continue to stay patient, allow things to develop, kind of see, do we bounce or do we continue to flush? Sure enough, we continue to flush. The reason I'm making this video is just to kind of go over the trade that I took. So I actually took 2 trades, options trades on Nvidia today, and for a total of $3,233. So I kind of just want to highlight on how I did that, what I was looking at, what was going through my mind at the specific time. So as I woke up this morning on Pacific Standard Time, got up a little bit early, kind of seeing that the futures were up. We were very, very green on the futures. So immediately, I have a few stocks that I like to look for to see if they're providing setups on a day-to-day basis. Those stocks are going to be things like Nvidia, things like Tesla, Amazon, the triple Qs, Facebook, Microsoft. Predominantly, I'm trading mega cap stocks. So those are the stocks that I go to. My top 2 favorite stocks that I like to personally day trade and scalp options is going to be Nvidia and Tesla. I just like the price action. I'm comfortable with the stocks. I'm familiar with the levels. I just like to trade them. And I would recommend everyone, kind of find a groove. What stocks do you like to trade? What stocks do you have the most success with? And I would kind of just stick to monitoring those stocks and trade them accordingly when your setup presents itself. So just kind of getting into the chart here, I have the 5-minute time frame pulled up. I was looking at the futures. We were riding high along with the NASDAQ futures /NQ was riding a little bit high. As the market was getting ready to approach open, I seen that we started to get weak. Okay, we started to lose this 20-day moving average on the 5-minute time frame. As soon as the market opened up here, we put in this red inverse hammer candle, and we had 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes worth of just downward action. So essentially, you could have just bought here, right? Like, it sounds very simple. Hey, why not? It was red when you opened. Why not just buy here? And why not just sell here? It's not that simple when it comes to playing with real money and actually having emotions. We're all humans. We're not robots. There's a lot of things that go into trading just besides looking at the chart and just besides, playing a stock because it's green, playing a stock because it's red. So one of the setups that I like to use, I do like to use the 20 period moving average, which is a 20 SMA. I also like to keep an eye on pre-market highs and pre-market lows. So I'm always kind of watching that. If we can kind of break out of those ranges, normally to the top side, we can see if we can hold. And if we do break down, see if we back test that level and then have a continued flush. That's exactly what I was looking for. So how I originally set up my chart was I go to the hourly time frame and I'm kind of looking at the hourly candles, okay? So if we just look at today, we can see pre-market lows was down here at 254.52. I also made a note of this in the Discord. A few minutes after the market had opened, maybe 10, 15 minutes after the market had opened, I think it was closer to like 640 or 650. I kind of made a note in the Discord. By the way, if you guys want to join that Discord where I'm kind of throwing out these levels intraday, definitely do that. Join down in the description box below. But I was looking at the chart here, and what I was looking at that particular time was the bounce that we got. So the first level that I was looking at was pre-market lows. If Nvidia could break through pre-market lows, what I wanted to see it do was put in a new low, okay? Put in a new low, and here's something I want everyone to take note at. If we break through pre-market lows, you want to let it put in that first new low. As soon as it puts in that first new low, what you want to see is you want to see some type of bounce, right? You want to get the bounce. So it's a lot easier to see on the 5-minute time frame. Kind of just blow this up here. And let me just kind of move this to the side so you guys can see it. So the first level pre-market lows sitting right here at 254.50. We got that breakthrough at 655. And if I just kind of check the time that I was talking about this in the chat, so give me 1 second here. Let me just find exactly what time. Okay, so at 6:42 a.m., let me find 6:42, 6:35, 6:40, 6:45. So in this candle here, I said Nvidia 254.50 needs to build short position, get ready, right? So what I was looking at, 254.50 was pre-market lows. If Nvidia could break through pre-market lows, I was ready to take a short position. So as I was waiting here, when I made this announcement on the Discord at 6:43, 6:42, I seen us pressing lower. I seen us have a bounce. We consolidated, and here's the flush. Now, there's one of two ways that you could have played this. You can take a first entry, which is always a little bit more risky, but you do get a little bit more meat off the bone, meaning that as soon as it breaks below the pre-market lows, always expect a bounce, right? Nothing's just going to go breaking the lows and just coming a straight line down, right? You're going to get that bounce. And on that bounce, what you want to notice is, what does the stock do after a bounce? Does it bounce, continue to consolidate and move higher? Then this play below pre-market lows is no longer a factor. If we do break and then bounce on that second flush, this is what I like to call a second entry. I like to take my move on the second entry, especially when market's been volatile. I don't like to take the first move. I want that more verification. And if it does happen to fail on me, then I know, hey, you know what? I gave this thing 2 times to go. It did not do what it's supposed to do. I just got to exit the trade. So it was here on this candle that I entered into the play. And the reason why I entered into this play was, as we broke through these pre-market lows and put in this new low here at the new low was 253. As we put in those new lows at 253, I knew that we were already trading below pre-market lows. I was looking at the NASDAQ futures be extremely weak and also going red and building in the red direction as well. So I waited for the bounce. Okay, so we got 5-minute bounce, a 10-minute bounce, and as soon as we started to wick down, now this is when I'm starting to get ready to buy, because I'm telling myself here, look at, we had this one little, we had a bounce here. We finished green. We tried to make a second attempt to push higher. We never got over the 20-period moving average. These are all things that are going through my head. So I'm thinking, we're below pre-market lows. We're below the 20-period moving average. The futures are going down. Why would I try to buy this stock to go higher? You know, there's no reason why I'm going to buy this stock to go higher when obviously we're pushing down through those pre-market lows. And as soon as we get that second attempt at the pre-market lows, this is exactly where I go short. So immediately I go short and we push down for 5, and I took 10 contracts because it's 0 days, so expiration contracts are a little bit cheaper. Initial investment was around $2,600, so not too much that I was playing with here. We do break through those pre-market lows the second time. This is where I take my entry on this candle. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. We get an initial push all the way down to 250. So my entry was up here in the 245s. Obviously, I didn't sell way down here. I wish I did. I wish I was continuing to hold this, because we're down now trading at 242. This trade would be like 1,000%, 2,000% trade at this time. But, you know, that's the name of the game. That's the game that we play. We're never looking for the whole move. We're just looking to catch a little piece of the move. So as I enter here, I take contracts that were, let's see the strike price that I took. I took strike prices on the first trade of 257.50. Okay, so 257.50s is what I took. I went in the money just because today's Friday, just because it's 0 days to expiration. Normally, I'm going to try to grab one at the money, just a little outside the money. But the reason why I went in the money is because I wanted to make sure I was protected in case this thing went against me. And I also knew that if I was to buy a 257.50 options contract and I'm already entering down here at 254, I'm already going to put myself in a great position to be in the money, deep in the money, if this thing really starts to speed up. So as this thing started to speed up, it was down here right around this 251. As we were approaching the low 251s, I quickly sold my position. I actually sold 8 contracts. I held 2. And as I held 2, we got this bounce. Okay. So when I started to see this bounce here, this is green hammer candle, and then we started to get a push higher, I just closed my position because I did not know if this was going to continue to ride higher. So even though, yes, it did push higher, did get rejected at my entry and fell lower, I could have essentially held this. I just did not want to put myself in that situation to perhaps get a reversal on those last 2 running contracts and then start losing money on those when I already made great profits on that. And I was able to pull out $2,600.80 on that particular trade. The next trade that I took was down here at 250.44, and the reason why I took it at 250.44, coming back to my hourly candle here, we can see this 7 a.m. candle. So this is a second hour candle forming of the day. These were the lows. So at this point in time, I already knew the market was extremely, extremely weak. The futures were already negative, by 150, 200 points already. I mean, it was just, bouncing back and forth. You get these small bounces, and then it couldn't catch a bid. Things were just immediately falling. So this is what you call a continuation play. You're never really looking for a huge move, even though we got the huge move, right? You never can anticipate the huge move, but we did get a huge flush. I just took a scalp on this and I made $553 again on another 10 contracts. I did not hold these contracts at all just because I was already so profitable on the day. I did not want to give any profits back. So you can see here this 250.44, we came down and tagged this level one time. We held it once, bounced, held it twice, and cracked below. So for me, on this candle here at 8:10 in the morning Pacific Standard Time, when we had this slight bounce and we could not hold over that hour's candle's lows and we started to flush, this is exactly when I got in. I took 10 contracts on this candle at 8:10 and I held it for about 35 minutes. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 minutes is where I held this. This candle closed at 248 and my entry was here around 250.38 minus slippage, and by the time I got filled on the market order for the 10 contracts, I was able to pull $553 off of 10 options contracts in a matter of 30 to 35 minutes on this. Wish I would have held it. Thing continues to push down, currently trading at 242, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys an insight on how I was able to make 26 or 33, what was it? $3,200 and $3,233. Just want to kind of give you guys an insight. If you guys want more information like this, you want to subscribe to my channel as I do put out these videos daily. Join my Discord that's down in the description box below. And if you want to learn my scalping strategy and you want to understand the process of how to really trade stocks long and short in any kind of market, bear market, chop market, bull market, visit my website, evolutiontraders.com, and you guys can see all the information there.